Welcome to the mock applicant auction.
In this video we will describe the setting in which the auction will take place, the auction rules, the auction software, and also briefly discuss the strategic nature of this particular type of auction.
That is one long list. Shall we start with the auction setting?
Yes. Each participant in this room is a bidder in the 4 applicant auctions that will be conducted today. As a participant, you will be part of a bidding team with 1 or 2 others. The teams were formed at random.
So, each team has a specific role in an auction, is that true?
True. Every team is assigned a company, and a list of strings the company has applied for. For each of these strings the team has a value, which is private information.
The values are private information, but each team will know who they are competing with for a domain, right?
Yes, the domains that each team has applied for are shown in the bidding tool, which we will discuss in detail soon.
Okay, let's continue with the values. Is there anything to know about them besides that they are private information?
Actually, yes, there is. Each team's value for each domain is going to be randomly and independently drawn from a certain probability distribution in the auctions that will be conducted today. This means that even though a team does not know the actual realization of values its competitors have, they have information on the likelihood of a value being drawn.
Which distributions are going to be used today?
In the auctions that will be conducted today, the values will be randomly and independently drawn from a uniform distribution on the interval 0 to 5000 K. These, we call as auctions with symmetric values.
In this case the average value of a domain would be $2,500, right?
Correct.
Good. I think we can now start talking about the auction itself.
Yes. The auction format is called the simultaneous ascending clock auction. This basically means that all domains are auctioned simultaneously in multiple rounds. In consecutive rounds, the prices of domains for which there are multiple active bidders rise, until only one bidder remains. The remaining one bidder wins the auction for that domain, that is, buys the domain from its competitors. The auction ends when there are no domains with multiple active bidders.
Okay, how about we give an example?
Of course. Here is a screenshot of the auction. In this screen you can see the domains this bidder has applied for on the first column. Next to that, we give the number of active bidders for the corresponding domain. In each round, we also announce 2 prices for each domain, the minimum price to bid, and the minimum price to continue. The minimum price to bid is $0 in the first round.
The minimum price to bid would be the lowest possible bid someone may place, right?
Yes.
How about the minimum price to continue?
The minimum price to continue is the smallest bid you may place in the current round, to be given the opportunity to bid in the next round. If you place a bid lower than the minimum price to continue for that round, you will exit from that domain. You will not be able to bid for a domain for which you have submitted an exit bid previously.
So, what happens at the end of each round?
The auction system will identify if the domain received multiple bids that are greater than or equal to the minimum price to continue. If so, the auction for that domain will proceed to the next round, and the prices for the unsold domains will be increased by a percentage increment in the next round.
If there is only one or no bid that is greater than or equal to continue for a domain, then what happens?
Then that domain is won by the highest bidder. If there are ties, they are broken randomly.
How about the price the winner pays?
Pricing is based on a second price rule. The highest bidder is awarded the domain, but pays the highest losing bid. Each losing bidder will receive an equal share of the winner's payment for that domain.
We should also point out that in each round, bidders need to submit bids within the time allowed. If no action is taken for a domain, it will be assumed that the bidder has chosen to drop out from that domain.
Yes. Actually, let's continue our exploration of the bidding screen. The bids are entered on the 5th column by clicking the button, Edit Bid. After a bid is submitted, the auction system automatically compares your bid with a minimum price to continue, and indicates whether you will be exiting from a domain or not with the current bid. This information is also shown on the last column.
I see that there is a bar that is titled Bid Status on that screen.
Yes. Each company has an initial deposit. Initially, 5 times the size of the deposit determines the maximum bidding commitment a bidder can make.
In other words, your bids in total may not exceed your current limit, And the current limit is determined by multiplying the deposit by 5?
Actually, as domains are sold, the payment received by the loser is added to the deposit amount. Thus, the correct statement would be that the total amount of active bids and winning payments cannot exceed 5 times the current deposit.
What about the domains that are not sold, but for which the bidder has exited?
We can talk about this case by examining the screen that appears under the tab titled My Results. On the last column, you can see the minimum amount that your deposit will be credited. This is also the minimum price to bid in the current round.
I see. Then how about the profits?
Your total profit is the sum of the profits from all domains you have applied for. Profit from a domain you have won is calculated as the difference between your value and the price you have paid for that domain. From a domain you have lost, you earn an equal share of the winner's payment along with other losers of that domain.
So, if I lose a domain and the initial number of bidders for that domain is 5, and the winner pays $4,000, my profit would be $1,000.
Correct. If you win that domain at the price of $4,000, and if your value is $3,500, your profit would be $500.
Now I think we can start talking about a bidding tool.
Sure. The bidding tool can be downloaded from the Downloads tab. It is basically a spreadsheet that has several functions. First, it includes all the information that is common knowledge, the domains, the bidders and which domains each can bid for. It also has your values for the domains you have applied for. Here is a screenshot of the bidding tool. The bidding tool is especially useful for bidders who have applied to a high number of domains. You may enter your bids to the column titled Bids, and then by clicking the button Save to CSV, you may create a file which can be uploaded to the auction system.
How about the column titled Equilibrium Bid?
Yes, and that brings us to our last discussion topic, the bidding strategy. The simultaneous ascending clock auction allows the bidders to adopt complex bidding strategy. The column titled Equilibrium Bid gives a result from auction theory about single-item auctions that may be relevant when devising your bidding strategy. More specifically, it displays the bid that maximizes expected profits of a bidder, given your private value and the number of competitors for that domain. It is assumed that the values are private and are independently drawn.
Is it taken into consideration in this equilibrium bid function that winners' payments are shared equally among the losers?
Definitely. It is exactly for this reason that the equilibrium bid function for our auction is different than the equilibrium bid function for a standard auction, in which winning payments are retained by the auctioneer. In our case, losing is made more attractive relative to the standard auction. The loser receives a share of the winner's payment rather than zero.
Okay, I think this brings us to the end of our long conversation.
Yes, that is about all. Before wrapping this up, we would like to thank you for your patience, and hope that you found this video useful.
If you have any questions, one of our assistants will be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.